Hello everyone, in tonight's video I'm going to tie this relatively simple nymph, but I'm going to discuss a couple of very important techniques that are going to improve your tying, I hope. First of all is going to be reverse jump hitch versus normal jump hitch, then placements of barbs versus ribs when you tie this fly in order not to displace the tail, which is I think very important, and last but not least the wing case cover. First of all, the tail is partridge, body are turkey barbs because of the nice mottled color, and it's quite durable material considering it's a feather. Ribs, it's UTC wire in tan. For thorax, I'm using hare's mask mixed with some UV purple. For wing case cover, I'm using some black thread. For some black wing, as you can see here, and thread is Vivas in size 8/0. So without any further ado, let's just hop into tying and explaining why I do what I do. So first of all, before I start tying, let me just see if this video is right for you. If you prefer to tie tail like this as opposed to this, then just stay a little while and I'll explain the best way to do this, I think. One of the best ways, not the best maybe. There are always several solutions, so not necessarily mine is the best. And to be honest, I learned this relatively recently. So I'm starting with a hook, which is Chinese brand, but it's quite nice hook, I can say. Relatively heavy wire, so it's like for more buoyant dry flies, but mostly it's for nymph hooks. Then let's talk about basic premise is when you tie a fly, you go like this. You start your fly somewhere, wherever you want, and most people won't even think what I do and why they do it. So some of them will actually catch the tail now, which is not terribly wrong, but it's better to put tail between two thread layers than between hook and a thread layer, because it's more secure, but you can actually do it like this. So I'll do it now. So I'm doing it wrong, and I think it's important to see why this is wrong in order to correct mistake if you have it. So I'm just gonna do it, I think, conventional way. So I'm compensating for thread wraps. I'm pulling the thread towards me and pushing it away with thread, and I'm compensating to keep this tail centered on the hook. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes not, but yeah, this is what we got. So let's just put it dead center on the hook, like so. Now most people, because it's more convenient, will by default place the ribs on the near side. So let's do it like that. So I'm placing ribs on the near side, and then I can catch my materials right now. So as you can see, I'm not following any rules that I've been preaching recently in my videos. I'm just tying the fly as I guess most people would do it. And it's not wrong. It's just different. So counter wrapping the body material. Okay, I made a mistake here. Never mind. Now, look what happens because of the hook, which is on the near side. If you start wrapping it conventional way, you're gonna displace those tails. But look what I did. I displaced a couple of them. In this case, I didn't displace all of them, which I could have if I just placed it a little, the wire a little bit more towards the end of the hook. So As you can see, I just displaced it a little bit more, and that's it. But instead of doing that, just do this. Let's start properly. Now I'm gonna do reverse jam hitch and explain why I do it. So if I do it conventional way, I'll go like this, maybe catch the tails, then catch materials here and go back. That's 2. If I didn't catch tails here, if I laid foundation here, then I would have to go back again and back and forth. It would get me like 3 layers of thread without too much, and I will like it wouldn't make much sense, but it would create a little bit of bulk. Now I'll press from my near side against the hook shank. I'll press the thread, and from underneath with the tag end I'll go around the hook and place it where I want to start body. And then with my bobbin holder hand I'll wrap a couple of wraps, and when I feel under tension that this tag is not going anywhere, I'm just gonna release my left hand and transfer the tag to the front. That takes a little bit of practice, sometimes luck, because this one is not listening to me. Okay, counter spin the bobbin to flatten the thread, and then cover the hook shank. By doing this is 1 thread layer. If I catch materials here and go back, this is 2nd, and then I catch tails and go back, this is 3rd, and I tie the fly with just 3 layers underneath. It saves 1 layer of 8/0 thread, which is good saving, I think. Now I'll run the thread right about where I want abdomen to end, and this is more or less around here. Now I will use wire and put it on the far side, and very soon you will see why on the far side. Counter spin the bobbin to have the thread jump into my hand, left hand, and with 1-2 wraps I'll catch wire on the far side. Then I'll grab turkey tail, like a couple of barbs, not too many, don't need too many here, and catch it on the near side of the hook, and counter spin the bobbin again, catch everything on the near side. Now the thread pressure is very important here. This is not of my concern right now because I'm gonna secure it as I go down the hook shank. So the length of the wire is the length of the abdomen. I don't want to have a tag to cut. So no pressure, up, no pressure, up, no pressure, up. This way I'm not displacing the wire by placing the right amount of pressure where I need it. So I'm just gonna cover everything up and then stop. I can just pinch out this. Now as you can see I have flat foundation, perfect foundation for the barbs. What I need some tails, and for tails I'm going to use partridge. Align the tips, okay, measure, and then transfer the measure over there. Counter spin the bobbin again to jump the thread, and with no pressure you can just place the tails where you want them. No pressure, up, no pressure, up, no pressure, up, no pressure, up, and you cover body like that. I flatten the thread from time to time because it's very important to create as little bulk as possible. Now as you can see the tail is placed in the middle of the hook. Now if I go excuse me, if I go conventional way with this, I'll displace the barbs of the tail because I will push them with barbs. And then if I go with wire to cross it, I'll mess it up again because it's going on the hook, like on the top of the hook. But if I go the other way around, so if I go unconventional way with turkey barbs and cover the body like so, okay, so I'm just putting a layer of those turkey barbs, which are really beautiful. So just keeping the tension all the time, putting the foundation here, and that's it. Now I didn't displace the tails. Now what happens with wire? Wire will do the same. It's going to go underneath without any reason to go over those tails, and then you just cross the turkey barbs on the top and then go and go and go and so on and so on. And as you can see, you got yourself a nice even body here. Now I will just break it off. So we are here, centered. Well, you can't see it here, but you can see it here, aligned and centered. Now, so far so good, I guess. Now, for this part here, I want first to align, just let me show you two options you have with this feather. You can get shiny or dull. So dull is near my nail, and the shiny is on the right. So, whichever you prefer. Shiny is inner side of the feather, dull is the upper part of the feather, like the one that you can see when you see the bird. So personally, I like the shiny one. A little bit of reflection doesn't hurt, I guess. But look at those tips. They have this angle over here. So I'm just gonna take one slip. Okay, these are not married. So I'm gonna take one slip that is approximately as wide as the hook gap, more or less. Now, as you can see, it has this angle, but if you take it by the tips and you pull this and manipulate it to get those tips aligned, you can change that angle. So when you tie it in here, it's going to be flat. So I want the dull side facing upwards, so when I fold it over, the shiny side will pop up. Very important is to have flat surface over here and relatively wide, because it's a base for your feather. So I'm just gonna create a little bit of taper over here and width. I can do it with dubbing, but I prefer thread because it's just easier, more convenient. So I'm just gonna push it, counterspin the bobbin so the thread again jumps, remember, and let's see what happens. So I have this feather a little bit towards me, and then no pressure at all. As you can see, I'll make one revolution and slowly squeeze everything, and let me see, where am I? So I'll just, so this side I like it, this side it's going to be great if I push it with my nail and then squeeze it with thread. Now I don't need to cover this. You can if you want, like so, but use flat thread. You don't need to. You can do it with your dubbing. And for dubbing, I'm using the mixture of Hare's Mask and UV purple and some pink, I think, inside. Now dubbing noodle shouldn't be super thin in this case because I want to brush it out, but shouldn't be super scruffy either. I want to have some more guard here, so that's why I chose the Hare's Mask dubbing and not squirrel here. I want more scruffy thorax than usual. Look what I'm doing. I'm going with my dubbing backwards a little bit over this wing slip, pulling the wing slip as I tighten the dubbing around it, and then I'll just check if everything sits where I want it. I went a little bit too much. Okay, now it's good, but wing slip looks good. I'm gonna cover the hook. As you can see, I'm covering this ends of the wing slip. And I'm leaving enough room for the eye. Most people would crowd the eye. There is no need for it. Just leave enough room for your head. Now, I will use my brush to brush out a couple of hairs left and right. I'll do the same from the bottom side to create those leg-like. Okay. Now I'll just encourage this to lay as I wanted, because I folded it here, which I don't like, but well, it happened. I can also, because it's not necessary, I can also just take it away, that one barb. Okay. Now, I don't want to have anything here obstructing me, and one soft wrap. Now I'll pull and tighten the thread as I pull. 1, 2, and then check if everything is right. If everything is right, finish off the fly. Okay. I missed some hairs here, so I'll create a head slightly larger than I want. But then again, if I do the whip finish with flat thread, it's not going to create too much bulk. So look, one thread wrap here, next one goes closer to the eye, next one even more close, and then the fourth one pushes and hides all the materials. The head is not super big, but I was not creating the head with thread wraps and then finishing the fly. I was creating the head more or less with whip finish. That's the goal. Don't create your head with thread wrap, just mounting meaningless thread wraps. Now I'm gonna use super glue that's here in the bottle, so it's a little bit like gel form. It's easier for me to touch the head and protect the head. I'm doing this just for aesthetic reasons, to be honest. It just looks cool. And these nymphs that I just made here, I'm going to put in my giveaway box that, sorry guys, I haven't been filling in recently, but I'll finish it in a month or two, I guess, and then I'll just do that giveaway that I've promised. So I'm sorry I'm a little bit behind, but hope you understand. So this is the finished fly, as you can see. Nice little buggy nymph, quite light, as you would see. You can use it even with dry fly hook, and if you would use it with dry fly hook, it would actually decrease the descent rate, and you can use it in more shallow waters. Sometimes fish will position themselves in very shallow waters near the bank or near the surface, and then you need to fish them with emergers or these kind of nymphs that are unweighted. And this fishing can be very exciting because it's visual, so you can fish it under a dropper or you can sight fish it, which is my favorite method when I'm using these flies. So that would be it. For those of you who want to make it even more durable, you can put some UV over the wing case if you're fishing for trout. If you're fishing for grayling, it's not that necessary. So guys, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and see you next week.